should be good. So I'm going to talk about a few things today, but I think today is a day where it's probably going to be better to be in the Zoom meeting. I'm probably going to end up turning off the YouTube stream in a little bit after I talk about some basic stuff, just because of the stuff I'm going to have to write out. I think is probably, I'm going to try it a little better on the whiteboard screen on the Zoom meeting, because typing all this stuff up in real time for this chapter is just, it takes way too long. It takes way too long for me to get through an example. So if you're currently on the YouTube stream, probably find your way to the Canvas to the Zoom meeting. So at the moment it doesn't matter, because I'm actually going to be showing some stuff that you might want to see if you're in the YouTube stream. But then in a little bit I'm going to have you switch over to the Zoom as well. So you're welcome to be in both. But like I say, I'm probably going to shut down the YouTube stream here when we get to the actual problems that I'm going to cover, or questions that I cover for stuff. So you can see I've opened up the new section here, quadratic equations. The homework is open in Delta Math. And if we're looking at the schedule, let's see, where are we? Oh, by the way, we're supposed to let people know student elections are coming up. So if you at all care about student elections, then be aware of that, and you can participate in that. You can apply to be one of the people running or whatever. Okay, with the academic calendar coming up, let me just take a look here and show you. We have a spring break coming up. So at the end of March, the last week of March is spring break. And our plan, or my plan, is to have an exam right before that. Okay, so that means these next two groupings of math we need to get through will happen in the next couple of weeks. So basically we'll have, this week we're covering this chapter on quadratics. Next chapter we'll cover logarithms. And then this week before spring break is going to be considered the exam. That's when we'll have the exam. Okay, so a couple things to keep in mind. Remember, for this first exam, the first exam only, you get to retake the test if you do poorly on it. Okay, so try to do your best. Try to really see what you can do with it. If you do poorly, you're going to get a second shot at it. Okay, so be aware of that. But we want to kind of get it done. And then the second shot will happen after we get back in April, but you kind of want to be done with the algebra portion by then if you can. That way we can just focus on the math for med stuff that we're going to work through. Most of you will be pretty glad when we get to that point. My understanding is that once we reach that point in the class, students are usually much more comfortable with the math for meds portion than the algebra. And I'll admit, we're doing algebra. There's a lot of algebra coming at you fast. It's kind of like taking, the algebra class, our Math 3 intermediate algebra, but you're almost taking it like 60% faster. So it comes pretty quickly. So hang in there. When we get through the other side, we'll work on the portion of the class, which is obviously a very important topic, but most students find it, I'm told, a little bit easier than the first half of the semester. So that's kind of where things are going. There will be a practice test set up for you online, and then your test will be online, and then you'll take that portion of the test the week right before spring break. Okay, so we'll talk more about that test as we get closer. So probably next week on the 14th, I'll have more updates on what that test is going to be like for you, so you can get used to that. And then when we come back from spring break, we'll dive into the new book, new material, start taking care of all that kind of stuff. Okay, so for anyone who's just showing up, what I mentioned was here in a couple minutes I'm actually going to turn off the YouTube stream, because I think I'm going to have to show you everything in the Zoom whiteboard, just because there is so much complicated writing I have to do today. I'm just going to have to write it freehand rather than typesetting it in the math font, which I usually do. This one just takes way too long to do that. So we're going to do that. So is there any questions? Anybody have any questions about how things work in the near future of the class? Everyone understands you're going to have a test that week before spring break. You'll have an exam in this class. So you're going to be all ready for that and start preparing for that and everything. Okay. So if you see over in Delta Math, you've got your new homework up, which is, let's see, it is, you've got, let's see, where does it start? Oh, just the two. So solving quadratic equations. Now, this is a pretty big assignment, but there's only 2 assignments for this chapter, right? So you might look at this and go like, this assignment's really taking me a long time to get through, but it's going to be kind of a long assignment. So don't try to do it all in one evening. Don't try to do it all at once. Take your time. Realize it's probably going to take you, the better part of a week to work through this assignment, maybe that long. Some of you might get it done in an evening, but it might take the better part of a week to get through because there's a lot here. There's a lot of major ideas. And the problems that we're doing become, there's more to each problem, right? You're going to have, like when we're doing quadratic equation stuff, there might be 10, 12, maybe more lines of work that you have to do. So like previously when you were factoring a polynomial, it was like 1 or 2 lines and you were done. Now each of these problems is going to have a lot more work associated to it. Okay, so that's kind of where we're going with stuff. Okay, so let me go ahead and I'll probably just end up taking roll. Thanks to all those people who wrote their name in the YouTube stream. I'll actually take a look at that, but let me, where's roll? Here we go. Let me take care of that. And thanks to, good job to everyone who's been showing up, still participating in the class. That's great. And again, I think I mentioned this last time. Please, if anyone is considering dropping the class, please see me first. Just have a discussion with me before you drop the class. We'd like you to be able to move ahead successfully in the course. I mean, you still have to pass the class, but just talk to me before you drop the class. Okay, who do we got here? Let's see. And while I'm taking roll, those people that are on YouTube, you probably want to start migrating over to the Zoom meeting. Okay, let me see. Who do we got here? Allison. Let's see. Allison, do you have a last name? It's not showing a last name there. Let's see. Okay. Okay, got everybody there. All right, so we are getting into some new algebra. Like I say, I'm going to go ahead and close this off. So those of you who are on the YouTube stream, if you're still on there, jump over to the Zoom meeting. Remember, the link is in Canvas up there where it says class meetings. Hop on over just because it's the only way I'm going to be able to write all this stuff out for today. So thanks, everybody. Hop over to the Zoom meeting.